Well, aren't we just on a roll with these new 80th anniversary Thomas things? Here is something I genuinely didn't know was coming out until just a few days ago. This is the six pack, or well, Sodor Adventure Pack, as the box says. We'll go ahead and take a look at the box. I really like this fusion of the CGI style with the kind of, I guess, technically reboot like packaging style. I don't really know how to classify this, but I really like the way it looks. It looks very sleek. The window there is perfect. You see everything in the pack there. This is, I'm pretty sure, a Walmart exclusive. I was looking at it on Walmart.com because I was thinking it over when I had a friend send me the listing. The website said it was Walmart exclusive. I don't know how true that will be, but it does come with an exclusive Thomas here. I won't be comparing these with the new motorized engines as I don't have Percy, and I would like to do all of them at once. So, I don't know, maybe in future I'll bust these guys out if I find the new motorized Percy pack. Hopefully they'll make Henry soon, too. There's the barcode if you'd like to see it, in case you can look it up. Interestingly enough, this one doesn't seem to have the 80th anniversary emblem anywhere on the package, but I do like the return to the sort of the nitrogen era of renders, I guess. Very 2012 coded for sure. So let's go ahead and rip right into this. Actually, I've decided let's do something a little more fun. I don't think I've ever actually unboxed something like this on camera before, so we'll go ahead and figure it out. I don't see any tape anywhere. Oh wow, that glue is not very strong at all. I am easily tearing that. It has a little bit of strength to it, but not much. I can see these will probably get broken into, unfortunately. That is some very... Oop, there goes the camera. Some very, very weak glue. Alright, let's see if it will easily... Man, I just cannot get the camera to work with me today. There we go. It's kind of alright. They're definitely in there. Oh, never mind. Alright, they very easily slid out of these. That's kind of concerning, honestly. There's no background or anything, just a white sort of cardboard insert, and they all sit in this plastic iceberg. So I'll go ahead and get engines and rolling stock out of the packaging. I'll go ahead and get the tender engines coupled up. Gotta say, I'm surprised at how weighty these are. These are definitely some of the heavier metal engines we've had in recent years. Alright, I think we'll start with, let's start with Henry. Why not? Let's start with Henry. Alright, here he is. This is technically my second one. Interestingly enough, I did not find the tender engines at a big box store. There's a local hobby store that just randomly decided to stock die-cast Thomas tender engines, and they caught my eye, and I found them. I'll go ahead and take the tender off here. Kind of silly of me to hook them on if I was going to take them right back off. Henry, I really like the way he looks. I feel like if he was just a smidge bit longer and had another set of wheels to get the proper wheel config, that would have been great. Interestingly enough, the whole cab back here, this part is plastic. The smoke box is plastic, the wheels, undercarriage. The only real, like, metal piece on here is the boiler here, and you can tell exactly where it segments. It's kind of disappointing, but it still looks very good. I wish I do like how the arches line up, but I kind of really would have preferred if the extra like half splasher was there, and the pistons jutting out from the into the running board with his I don't know what they're called there, the stands for the smoke box, I guess. It's kind of really distracting. I feel like if they'd I mean, they would never do this, but I feel like if they painted the running boards white, they very easily could have covered that up. Interestingly enough, these aren't riveted. These are just straight Phillips head. If I wanted to, I could take this apart and probably do that myself. I'll take the boxed one off the wall real quick so you can see what he looks like by himself in the package. And there's the 80th emblem I was talking about. Still very, very odd. That's not on this box. Take a look at the tender. The tender, I think, is really weird, but it is accurate. I mean, there's no sort of... He has a very oversized tender. I have no words today. I just cannot speak. The whole, like... This segment here, like in the middle with the screw, that's metal. So this has a lot of weight to it, despite being mostly plastic. Now this... Is this riveted? No, that's Phillips head, too. That's interesting. Now, one thing that does annoy me is they paint the front buffers, but they didn't with the rears. I think that's an issue with the motorized ones, too. They really should have... Like, I'm happy we've got painted buffers at all, but I really wish they would have painted both ends, you know? I'll knock out both green guys real quick. Actually, let's compare him with the Ertl Henry. Now, bear in mind, mine is very well loved. It's got a white running board. The tender wheels had to be replaced because he was missing some. But that is 40 years of evolution for you. This is not an original like 80s one, but they used the same mold up until the bitter end in the early 2000s. So I do like the green of the new one a little more. I don't know if my Henry is just sun faded or not, but I kind of wish he had this this green. I really like the way that looks. Look at the faces together. And of course, these are a lot bigger because they're made to be compatible with the motorized guys. But you know, they don't. That's a really good CGI Henry face. I'm kind of blown away with that. Of course, I'm comparing these with the Ertl ones just because they're a little more accessible than the Techs, and because they also have side rods on the side. They don't move, they're completely static. And do these work very well? They do, they work wonders with original Trackmaster track. I'll just park Henry back there. Bring in Percy. Percy is probably the most popular one out of these, if I had to guess. I see a lot of love for this little guy. The font for the number 6 is really weird. The bunker, the printing doesn't go all the way around. I know with some of the reboot toy packs, they had some printing differences, so I don't know if this is just like for how this pack is, or if the single has this bit of the bunker all grayed out. The coal load is sort of odd looking. Overall, it's really not bad. Like, I'm very impressed. This is the highest quality stuff we've had in a long time. And they do have the rivet details tastefully done, I should add, and the handrails for the cab. I don't know if they'll show up because they are very, very small details, but they are very nicely printed, or they're painted on there. I don't think there's any printing, really. Not sort of like with the Cars diecast. Like, here's a GRC McQueen, you can tell. It's sort of a weird way of painting the livery on there. It does look kind of fuzzy. But these are crystal clear. They look fantastic. Again, that number 6 is taking me out of it. Like, that's very distracting. It's very big too, and it's not the right look for the number 6. I know the Ertl one really don't think is much more accurate. Do I have a Percy that's semi-modern? All right, we'll compare. We'll use the Mattel Dirty Percy on the play rail chassis because I had to have all my engines have the white running boards. This is what a proper like number 6 looks like. I don't know where they pulled this one. This is such an odd-looking number. If anyone has the motorized one and can tell me if the 6's matches or not, because it's very odd. It's very distracting to me. The brake rigging detail here is not 3D. It is painted on. I'm happy it's there. Even the little toolbox thing here, it's not 3D. There's no texture there. I can run my finger across it. You won't feel anything. Oh. That's printed on there. Very nicely done. And I know with a lot of newer Percy toys, the lining on the boiler is always really crooked sometimes. Always, and then sometimes in the same sense. Well, a lot of them, what I've seen, is that the lining is very off, but these, I don't see a single issue with this. Like, it is perfectly symmetrical all the way around. I don't know what they've done with these new guys, but they've done quite a great job. The dome and the whistle and safety valve are 3D. They are separately, well, not separately fitted, but they are separate pieces. And they look really great, too. I think really the only thing Percy is missing is his cylinders and then maybe some cab windows. But none of these have cab windows, so I really won't hold that against them. The rods look wonderful. I just feel like if they probably could have pushed these back a little bit. I guess they figured the side rods would look better than the pistons, and I think they might made the right choice. Interestingly enough, he does have painted buffers on both ends. Look at that. The face is kind of odd. Like, it's very clearly CGI Percy, but his pupils just look really, really big. I don't know. Don't know what to say with that one. Not a bad face, but not my favorite. Now, here he is next to the Erdl. Bear in mind, this has been painted. It's got the painted on windows and silver funnel and buffers, and then the black on the sides. He's very well loved. This is the only Erdl Percy I had that was in, like, presentable condition. So bear in mind, that's not usually what he looks like. Size-wise, they're pretty comparable. The Erdl one is obviously noticeably shorter. It's not nearly as wide. That's because, this isn't made to fit on, Trackmaster track. There's a little side-by-side. I feel like they should have done what they did with the Erdl Percy, where the rods are there, but they sort of mold into the frame of the chassis, and then you can have these pistons jut off to the side, so you've still got both the details there. Other than that, I mean, he's a very, very solid little version of Percy. I really like him quite a lot. I spent a lot of time with him, more than I did with Henry, but there's really, oddly, not enough to say with Henry. Here's the big man himself, James the Red Engine. Now, interestingly enough, we're going to start with the tender. This is a complete rehash, reuse of the reboot one, just with the new classic-styled wheels thrown on it. I think it works. It serves. Okay. My single one on the wall doesn't have painted buffers on the back. Why does James's have the buffers painted, but Henry's doesn't? That's really odd. I don't know what to say to that. That's really quite a annoying inconsistency. And like with Henry's tender, this whole middle segment is metal. So despite being plastic, it does have a bit of weight. Like, it does fall. Ugh, I really cannot speak today. Interesting little gap there. I don't know what that's for. James, I think, might be my favorite, even if he is just massively overscaled. I know the CGI render for James is based on the Wharf scale one, I believe, and that thing just is a mess in and of itself, and has sort of affected a lot of toys for a long time, so it's sort of the reason why James is so huge. Same thing going on with Henry. The cab is all plastic. It's from the firebox here to right before the smoke box. The whole boiler part is metal. Interestingly enough, his splashers are molded in with the body, so those are metal too. this black part here sort of makes him look like Edward. I wonder if they ever do Edward like this, he might be an oddly retooled James. Oh, I should mention, these all do have their names on the bottom, which is a wonderful return to form. Painted front buffers. The James face, little on the chubby side, just a little bit. I do like the expression, though. He looks very, determined, but sort of... He knows he's the best. All of the detail is there. Handrails, the rivets, the... Wow, completely drawing a blank there. The handrails, I just said it. The gold dome is interesting. It's separately applied, or separate piece. See, okay. Percy's cab roof, painted on. Henry's, that's molded on. James's is printed on in the same way modern cars die-casts are. Like, if you really, really take a look at it, like in the light there, you see that graininess to it? That's so odd. Why is it like that? That's such an odd way of doing it. And of course the gold side rods is pretty weird too. I kind of wish they would have gone with the regular gray color, but then they did that for the wheels. Why are his wheels not black? I mean, I really like the way this looks, but I feel like the black wheels with the silver rods would have been a little more striking than gray and gold. I think that's kind of odd, because that's not what James... That's not what he looks like. I will compare it with the Ertl one here. Again, 40 years of difference will really do something to you. There's the side of the Ertl James. Side of the new Mattel one. We'll hook the tender onto it. Now, lengthwise, the new James, if we line them up as perfect as I possibly can, buffer to buffer, the new James is almost as long as the original Ertl one. He's very big, very big, big fella here. I'll go ahead and I will show off what the single pack release of James looks like. There he is, new in the package there. I bought the whole 6-pack just to have these guys loose, because I do want to get boxed of all of them, because they look really nice. And Lord knows how long, such really nice Thomas stuff will hang around. Again, they all ride very, very well. I know they're designed for the newer, like 2014 onward style track, but just rolling them along the classic, like, Hit Toys, early Mattel stuff, they roll like a dream, like, genuinely. It's like when you get a good piece of model railway rolling stock with metal wheels and they just glide along the track. It's wonderful, truly. Here is Thomas the Tank Engine. This guy has got a lot of variants already. Now, there's this one with his lining being painted on, the regular one, the metallic one, and then the book-inspired one. I really want that book-inspired one. Here is the special exclusive Thomas to this pack. Oh, kind of a letdown. I was really hoping, there would be more than just one side being different, because you look at it this way, it just looks like a regular, new version of the Thomas diecast, and then you flip it around. Oh, there's the guy with the painting the line work on. I don't know. That's kind of a really lame way of really kind of lazy too. I'll take a look at the face here. Good looking face. I do sort of like the black outline for the mouth. I think that looks really nice. Genuinely, they've done some great work with the faces here for sure. Not all of them are super accurate, but they're very expressive. I do like the detail of the lamp being here. Now again, with the buffers, they're painted in the front, and then they're not painted on the rear. Also, molded tail lamp is not painted. The coal load is 3D. That's not a part of the body. That's a separate piece. Same with the whistle. That's also a separate piece. I'm really getting a good look. Okay. Now, these are super inconsistent with one another. Percy here, all of that's painted on, but it's sort of got the print texture, again, like a newer Cars diecast, where, you know, it's kind of grainy. Like, it looks good, yeah, but you can tell there's some grain to it. They've done that with Thomas here. I don't know how well it will show up on camera, but it's sort of... These things are going to be a fingerprint magnet. Oh my lord. They're very glossy, all of them. I really like that. These are all very inconsistently produced. The wheelbase, I think, should have been bumped up just the tiniest bit forward. It does have a bit of an odd shape with the chassis. I feel like this wheel and the end of the buffer, or the running board there, very, very close together. The rods do look wonderful though. It's really a great little diecast Thomas. It's just all of these are so inconsistently produced. Like they've got so many different variations in how they're all made from each other. It's really quite odd. I don't know why these all weren't made the same way. I mean, I really don't know what to say here. I guess we'll bring in the only other version of this that I have. Not taking this one out of the box. Not with the quality control on these two here. You look at them the wrong way and the chrome paint comes off. That's what a regular one looks like compared to the ruby metallic one. I do love the chrome on the rods and the chrome red. I guess it's really more chromed out than it is metallic. If I find a second one of those, I will take it out of the box, but that's the only one of them I've found so far. And with the quality control issues on the trucks there, I really do not want to take that one out of the box. I really wish they even could have copied it on both sides, and I wouldn't have been mad. There would have been more variation, but just leaving one side completely stock, like, because this is how it is presented to you in the box. You have no idea that this side is completely blank. I think that's kind of a really bad practice there. Again, though, I think it's interesting how he isn't perfectly, he's kind of angled. I don't know how well it will show up on camera, but if you look very closely, it's not like a straight line down. It is sort of angled just a teeny tiny bit. You could really see it from the front. Yeah, this looks good, but I can't excuse this, and I don't know. This is definitely the most conflicting part of the pack, for sure. Here he is next to the original Ertl Thomas. I think this is actually a 1984 one. Oh, this one says 85. Oh, well, close enough. Here is the original next to the brand new one. I like these new ones, but I still have to give it to the originals. It's really hard to beat these. These come ever so close. But they really need to be their own system again. The diecast stuff has got to be its own system again. I mean, I appreciate the compatibility, but that does, hamper it a little bit. And now for sure the weakest part of the pack. I feel like this has gotten to be a very negative review, and I don't really like that. But these aren't excusable. These are complete reuses from the Trackmaster push-along ones. In the early 2020s, there was a range called Trackmaster Push-Along. Everything was really squat, everything was really wide, kind of fat and ugly. It was not great, and these were the Annie and Clarabels from it. Now, these have been updated to use the new wheel style. They're not terrible, but they have... Oh no, they do have different faces. Okay, so that definitely pushes them a little... That makes them a little better for sure. I mean, they do look great together. But when you compare then with the new Thomas, these two desperately needed to be updated to fit this new range, because Thomas, Annie, and Clarabel are supposed to, all sort of be the same height, vaguely, kind of. It's not very consistent. If I can show it quickly with the Ertl right here, I'll bring in the Ertl, Annie, and Clarabel, Thomas. Size-wise, this is what it's supposed to be like. They're Annie and Clarabel are longer, but they're all sort of the same height. When you bring in these new ones, where Thomas is a lot longer and taller, they sort of makes these two look very small. And, being reuses of... they're updated, obviously. They do have unique... if the camera would focus. They do have unique details for the windows. So I don't recall if Push Along Annie and Clarabel ever got the stock standard... Wow, they actually did do the effort of making sure that both sides on both Annie and Clarabel are different. They're not total copies from one another. I believe, are the Ertl ones like that? Okay, sorry for keeping the camera down for so long. No, the Ertl one, yeah, they actually did make sure that all the silhouettes and everything were completely different on both sides and different to each other. So they did put some effort into these, but I feel like these, Annie and Clarabel for sure, they've gotten the short end of the stick in merchandise for so long now. The new motorized ones that come with the classic Talking Thomas are really good. It's a step in the right direction, but these are really, really lazy. It's kind of a letdown. I definitely think they're a nice bonus to be included, but they really needed their own unique new tooling, because these just do not cut it with how souped up and detailed these new engines are. I really hope going forward with this new range that this doesn't become a habit where they re-release the push-alongs just with these new wheels. I've seen some images, some listings, and I think there's images floating out there too. But all I've seen so far is these brand new wheels, these new wheel mold that's just being slapped on these old, really not that great push-along toys, and then they're claiming them as brand new, and that's not the case, because then they don't match these. Rambling aside, I'll get everyone together for one last big picture, and I'll give my final verdict. Alright, everyone is posed together with their Ertl counterparts. Now, overall, I think best value-wise, if you're having trouble finding the engines individually, like I have been, like I have not seen any of the small size engines or medium big size engines in big box stores at all. Like I said, I found my Henry and James at a local hobby store that doesn't usually stock Thomas stuff. So it's kind of, I really have not had much luck with finding these die-cast ones anyway. Walmart seems to be getting in plenty of these 6-packs. I definitely think you should probably go for this if you can't find them individually. You do get an exclusive Thomas out of it, even if it's kind of not that great. You do get Annie and Clarabel, which don't say that they're exclusive on the box, but I don't think these two will be getting released individually. This just doesn't seem like something they really do anymore. I feel like the reboot Troublesome Truck was sort of a fluke in that regard. I hope it's not. I do hope we get individual rolling stock characters released as single packs, but for now, this 6-pack or Sodor Adventures pack seems to be the only way that we're getting rolling stock for these new style engines so far. They're all great. Like, really, they're all genuinely really nice. It's just there's some things here and there that drag them down just a tiny bit. I was very excited for these to come out, but having them in hand now, they are a little disappointing. I definitely think if you're going to collect the 80th anniversary stuff, just go for the motorized stuff, really. These aren't bad. These are a good secondary thing to get, especially that Ruby Thomas. That thing is really nice. Just leave it in the packaging. Don't take that thing out. You will rub that chrome paint off, especially on the trucks. If I had... My heart can't give this thing any less than like an 8 out of 10. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I think it's definitely a solid, B plus, B plus. Yeah, I'd say it's about that. They're new. They're great. If you can find them individually, go for it, sure. But if you're having some trouble and you'd like something for these guys to pull around, Annie and Clarabel are not half bad an option. This thing was like $32, which is a little steep. But for such highly detailed, engines and a return to form, in a sense, I definitely think that they're worth it in that regard. Definitely a lot better than that reboot, like, construction-themed 5-pack that's just been rotting on store shelves, at least here anyway. I've gone to both of my Walmarts in the city, and all of those still have dust on them from the day they were put out. I don't think they're selling that well at all. This pack shouldn't be too hard to find, really. My Walmart had stocked 4 of them, so I think you have a pretty fair shot. Definitely check websites and stuff. But I definitely think if you want to get them, go for it. This is probably the best way to do it. The exclusive Thomas is nice, even if it's a little on the lazy side. Again, I'm repeating myself a lot here, but if we want good toys like this, if we want this style to continue, you really do have to put your money where your mouth is. Your wallet does speak, even for a company as dense and hates its fans-ish, Mattel. I definitely think this, at least for now, is a good investment to show them that this is the direction we want. We don't want the silly stuff. We want grounded, semi-realistic toys again. This is the direction to go. We just need to really, really, really pound it into their heads until they realize this is what we want. No more of the reboot stuff. This. I keep pulling up Percy because I genuinely think he's the best one. So we'll end on a shot of him. Good job, Percy. You are the best out of all of them for sure. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Very rambly, very repeatish. But, I'm just excited to see good stuff like this again. But I won't waste any more of your time. Thank you for stopping by and watching. I hope you enjoyed it, even with my constant stuttering and inability to speak a coherent sentence. Hopefully more Thomas stuff on the way soon. Hopefully I'll be able to find the Percy and Nia Greatest Moments packs here soon. The Walmart just up the road for me hasn't restocked the motorized stuff since they got in the first wave. So hopefully that's more on the horizon, because they sold out pretty quickly. And, well, thank you again for watching, so that's that.